The world holds a map that should not logically exist, and that truth will be stated plainly so the listener leans forward even as they settle back to sleep. In 1569, Gerardus Mercator drew a world that quietly hinted at mountains where no one of his age had ever set foot, and that suggestion has echoed across centuries like a soft and impossible whisper. Beneath a continent of ice, hidden from sunlight and living memory, there are ranges of stone whose ridges and slopes match those faint, inked lines in a sheet of vellum, as if two minds separated by 4 centuries had looked at the same secret. Imagine a hand with a quill, slow and precise, tracing a coastline, and then, in a place beyond the maps of sailors and kings, sketching serrated marks that mean height, that mean peaks and valleys. Imagine, on a cold morning in Antwerp, a scholar folding that sheet and sliding it into a cabinet, unaware that centuries later planes and radar would find the same shapes sleeping under glacier. Say the word impossible and hear how it sounds in the silence of a room where only breathing answers, for the impossible lives here between ink and ice. This is not a tale of conspiracy and loud claim, but a hush of curiosity that asks how knowledge travels, how stories survive, and how a map can remember geography lost to time. Listen to the first fact and let it rest like a pebble dropped in a deep well. A map from 1569 contains a suggestion of mountain ranges lying under the ice of Antarctica, drawn long before any explorer had sailed south to see a single frozen slope. That single fact shapes everything else that follows, and it will be placed like a lamp on the path so the mind can follow where the evidence leads, even if the steps are cautious and the light is soft. There are many ways to react to such a claim: dismissal, wonder, skepticism, and each reaction is a valid companion for the rest of the journey, but an open ear will hear the odd correspondences and keep walking. Maps are stories told in lines and symbols, and the story Mercator set down is a quiet one that suggests knowledge passed through hands and centuries, carried like a small, necessary lie or an essential truth. A truth in a map is never only geography, it carries the assumptions of its maker, the sources available in their time, and the habits of thought that made certain details matter more than others. Mercator was a man of numbers and faith, of craftsmanship and careful thought, and he lived in an age when knowledge arrived in fragments: sailors' reports, sailors' errors, ancient texts, and sometimes rumor dressed as fact. It is comforting to imagine that every feature on a map is as carefully verified as a modern satellite image, but that comfort is a mistake. The past worked differently, and yet here is a place where past methods and modern measurements arrive at a remarkable convergence. Underneath the ice there are ridges so vast and so old that they predate human memory, and modern instruments have traced their outlines with a precision that surprises even seasoned scientists. Those modern outlines have a certain stubbornness, they do not bend to myth or wishful thinking, and when they line up with lines inked by hand centuries earlier, the coincidence demands a question rather than a quick answer. Questions in the dark are gentle things, they do not insist, they coax, and this is the way the story will be told: slowly, with attention to each soft detail, so the mind can float and consider without strain. Consider the idea of memory across time, how a coastline might be preserved in a coastal community's stories or an old chart, passed from hand to hand, until a mapmaker in the 16th century sketches what others once saw. Think of lost charts and vanished libraries, of records burned or misplaced, and imagine a web of partial memories that a careful scholar stitches into a whole, sometimes guessing, sometimes remarkably accurate. It is possible that Mercator drew what others had once known and what time had hidden, and it is equally possible that his depiction was an inspired guess shaped by the logic of coastlines and an educated imagination. To prefer one possibility over the other is to choose a kind of poetry about history, one where knowledge survives in fragments, or one where genius reaches across a void and describes the unseen. Both images are beautiful in their way, and for the hours that follow, both will be allowed to breathe so the listener can rest with questions rather than find immediate closure. This opening asks the listener to accept a small paradox, that careful observation and imaginative reconstruction can sometimes meet truth in the middle, producing a mapping that seems to know what the cold earth hides. Night is a softening force, and as the story unfolds the tone will remain even and unhurried, like a tide pulling gently at the shore, revealing shapes and holding them up to the mind. The mountains under the ice are old enough to be patient, and the map is patient too, waiting in its drawer for attention, and both will be examined with a tenderness that suits the late hour. If there is wonder here, it is a quiet wonder, the kind that makes the chest expand without noise, the kind that lets questions come and go like passing clouds. And if there is discomfort, let it sit for a moment like a cooling ember. The story will not press for immediate belief, only curiosity and the slow joy of following a trail. Over the next hours the evidence will come like small, steady currents, historic fragments, the habits of cartographers, echoes of older maps, and the steady, scientific songs of instruments that listen beneath ice. Mercator's world will be examined not to condemn his methods or to crown him a prophet, but to understand how ideas move and why a line on paper still matters when continents shift and empires fall away. The map is both an object and a bridge, and tonight it will be used to walk between centuries, feeling the texture of vellum and the hum of modern instruments as equals in a conversation. Maps do not speak, but they suggest, and suggestion can be as powerful as proclamation when the suggestion is precise and repeated. This beginning will not solve the mystery completely, but it will place the pieces on a table where they can be looked at, rearranged, and appreciated for their strangeness. Let the first image remain in the mind, a simple sheet of paper with inked marks that point to high places buried under vast white, and let that sheet be a key and a question at once. Sleep will come, and questions do not harm sleep, they are companions that can soften the edges of thought and make discovery feel like a slow companionable walk. So listen, breathe, and allow the mind to follow a map drawn by hand centuries ago into a continent hidden by ice and time, and let the mystery hold its shape like a slowly unfurling map across the quiet of the night. Gerardus Mercator was a figure shaped by the age he lived in, an age of exploration, mystery, and discovery. Born in 1512, he grew up in a world where maps were more than guides, they were statements of power and knowledge. His mind was drawn to both mathematics and the mysteries of the cosmos, a blend that shaped his approach to the world. The 16th century was a turning point for mankind's understanding of the Earth's surface. It was a time when great voyages stretched the boundaries of known lands, but vast spaces remained shrouded in shadow and speculation. Mercator lived in the middle of this flux, focused on creating tools that would help sailors traverse the expanding web of seas. He studied carefully how the Earth's curved surface could be represented on a flat sheet without confusing the angles sailors needed to follow. From his studies came a projection named after him, one that changed navigation forever by preserving the angles of compass directions even though distances and sizes were distorted for sake of practical use. Yet the Mercator projection was only one part of his work. He was obsessed with accuracy, detail, and with collecting knowledge from sources that others often overlooked or dismissed. Combining ancient geography texts, travelers' tales, and the best scientific learning of his day, he sought to create a comprehensive world map that could stand both as art and as precise instrument. Living long before the discovery of Antarctica's true shape and existence, Mercator had no modern tools, yet he chose to draw a landmass far to the south, surrounded by seas, and adorned it with mountain ranges that nobody alive had seen. What could have inspired him to believe this land existed? Why mark its mountains as sharp and grand? It is here that the mystery deepens. One theory suggests that Mercator had access to sources now lost to time, a collection of older maps preserved through centuries, themselves assembled from the memories of explorers or even an ancient civilization's records. Whether these sources were factual or fanciful is unclear, but they contained enough detail to guide his pen. Maps before Mercator's time often included speculative or imagined places, but few bore the detailed geological features he chose to depict in the southern continent. His lines were not rough sketches but carefully placed suggestions of terrain, mountains shaped like ridges and peaks, drawn with the same care as coastlines of lands known well. His workshop was a place of discipline amid a world of wonder. Light fell softly through windows onto manuscripts and instruments, while Mercator's steady hand followed each thought with precision. Here was a man balancing the rigor of mathematics with the art of interpretation, merging science and art into each new map. The continent he sketched was not yet named Antarctica, that term came later. It was often called Terra Australis Incognita, the unknown southern land, a concept rooted in centuries of speculation about a large land balancing the continents to the north. But what Mercator drew hinted at more than a vague shape. It suggested geological complexity beneath the ice that future science would one day confirm. For a map maker in the 16th century, such detail was bold, especially considering the lack of direct observation or local reports. Yet somehow, the mountains on his map correspond remarkably with mountain ranges hidden beneath thick glacier. These ranges, such as the Gamburtsev Mountains, were only discovered by modern technology specializing in seismic mapping and ice-penetrating radar. Seismic data provided scientists with the ability to see below Antarctica's 1,000-meter thick ice sheet. The instruments revealed landscapes carved with valleys and ridges, ancient mountain ranges that have survived millions of years buried beneath the ice. That these range outlines are similar to one sketched on a centuries-old map captivates the imagination and invites reconsideration of history. Could a network of ancient seafarers, or scholars in far-off lands, have recorded such landforms before Antarctica became enveloped in ice? Might Mercator's sources have included fragments of these ancient charts? The possibility that knowledge about the Earth's geography transcended eras shifts our conception of human understanding and memory. Mercator's reputation grew beyond his maps. He was also a linguist, philosopher, and instrument maker, celebrated for his devotion to precision. His work was often influenced by the religious and intellectual currents of his day, intertwining faith with the study of the natural world, prompting a blend of mysticism and science in his creations. His maps became prized possessions among scholars and explorers, tools that helped open routes across unknown seas. More than that, they symbolized a new era where the world could be understood through measurement, calculation, and careful observation, even if many places on those maps remained unvisited unknowns. The process of crafting a map like Mercator's was laborious. He pieced together his vision from multiple, sometimes contradictory sources, weighing each piece of information before rendering it into ink. Errors and inventions mingled with facts, but the southern landmass's detail suggested a deeper knowledge, or an extraordinary intuition. At a time when sea captains depended on accurate navigation, the Mercator Projection offered a solution that saved lives. It preserved the angles between landmarks, allowing sailors to plot courses more effectively than before. This advancement alone carved his name deeply into the history of cartography. Yet of all Mercator's innovations, the drawing of southern land and its mountains stands apart as the greatest mystery. Historians and scientists still debate the origins of this knowledge, examining old texts and new geological surveys alike, trying to untangle fact from legend. His map opens a door to questions about how knowledge moves through time. Could ideas have traveled through secret scholarly circles or mysterious voyages that slipped from recorded history? Did Mercator invent the southern mountains, or did he accurately represent a vanished world seen through a lens we can barely imagine? Each stroke of his pen reflects not just geography but the desires and uncertainties of an era on the brink of global understanding. The mystery of the southern continent on his map whispers of unseen worlds and forgotten stories, inviting the patient listener to lean close and listen carefully. The world Mercator inhabited was one of marvels and myths, where the line between speculation and science was blurred by necessity. Maps were portals to possibility, and to draw a land unseen was to step into a realm of both hope and wonder. His southern landmass aligns faintly with the continents known today, but it is drawn with features that modern science still finds astonishing: mountain ranges that, beneath Antarctica's frozen shroud, rise like silent giants, informing us that the past holds secrets still waiting for discovery. As this story unfolds, the mind is invited to explore further: the man who dared to imagine the unknown, the instruments of science uncovering hidden truth centuries later, and the vastness of ice that conceals ancient landscapes from every eye but a few. Sleep, now gentle and deepening, carries the listener into a world where history and mystery intertwine, where a map signed Gerardus Mercator becomes a silent storyteller of Earth's forgotten contours. The map Mercator created was unlike others in many ways. While earlier maps often included imaginary islands and lands drawn with vague strokes, his southern landmass was defined with careful precision, especially the mountain ranges etched deep into the icy continent's outline. These mountains were not merely decorative; their presence implied geological knowledge that, for centuries, could not be explained. The question lingers: how did a 16th-century mapmaker, using no advanced technology and no expedition reports, depict features that modern instruments would later confirm? It is here that the story takes a deeper turn, into the realm of mysteries that stretch beyond ordinary explanation. There are things that even the most skeptical mind must pause to consider with a quiet curiosity. The pattern of the mountains on Mercator's map parallels the ranges discovered beneath Antarctica's ice with uncanny accuracy. Modern science uncovered these ranges only through the use of seismic waves and ice-penetrating radar. When planes fly over the frozen continent, they carry instruments that send pulses into the ice, which reflect back shapes of long-hidden mountains, long buried beneath layers of pristine white. One of these ranges is named the Gerardus Mountains, a vast, hidden chain that runs for hundreds of miles beneath the ice sheet. To the untrained eye, Antarctica might seem a flat expanse, but beneath that frozen surface lies a rugged landscape as intricate as any mountain system on Earth. The resemblance between Mercator's sketch and the data collected today is dazzling. The shapes and directions of the mountain ranges match in ways that seem too precise to be coincidence or artistic license. It is a puzzle that has baffled historians, geologists, and cartographers alike. Many have suggested that Mercator possibly accessed secret knowledge, passed down from ancient mariners or lost civilizations, knowledge hidden away for centuries but preserved in maps and manuscripts. This idea pushes the mind into uncharted waters, challenging assumptions about human history and the flow of information. The Gambutsev Mountains are not the only feature that aligns with Mercator's drawings. The Transantarctic Mountains, another vast and ancient range, also appear in his map with remarkable similarity to what we know today. Together these mountains represent a landscape that was real, not imagined. Such a level of accuracy suggests more than coincidence. It implies that someone must have observed or recorded these features long ago, before ice covered the continent. This raises questions about who might have explored or mapped parts of Antarctica in an era vanished from documented history. Could it be that ancient mariners sailed further south than we think? Or that lost civilizations left behind maps that survived cryptically under the hands of scholars like Mercator? These ideas invite wonder and contemplation as time unfurls its masked layers. Maps are powerful tools. They are repositories not only of geography but of memory. They carry echoes of voyages, discoveries, and sometimes myths encoded into lines and symbols. Mercator's map stands as a keeper of a story yet to be fully told, a whisper of a world sunken beneath ice and forgotten by time. The southern continent's harshest secrets lie hidden beneath kilometers of ice, blocking the eyes of every traveler and scholar for centuries. But instruments that listen to the Earth's vibrations have now revealed what the map once suggested: a land of mountains and valleys beneath the frozen mantle. Scientists use a technique akin to ultrasound, sending seismic waves deep within the Earth and measuring their reflections. These waves reveal the shapes of landforms obscured, mapping the unseen world beneath layers of ice that seem endless. Their findings echo with the lines Mercator drew. The impressive alignment between the centuries-old map and modern topography raises profound questions about the nature of knowledge. Can ancient maps carry a memory of geological realities preserved through time? Or did Mercator create an inspired work of imagination that modern discoveries now seem to validate? As the layers unfold, evidence accumulates that blends history, geography, and mystery. The story is not only about maps but about the human desire to understand, to connect fragments of the past with tools of the present. The mountains beneath Antarctica challenge assumptions, reminding us that the surface of knowledge is always growing, reshaped by new discoveries that invite us to rethink what we know and how we know it. This convergence between past sketches and present reality tempts dreamers and scientists alike, urging further exploration not just of geography but of history's veiled narratives. The map is not a mere relic but a bridge across centuries, a symbol of the enduring pursuit of knowledge that links the past, present, and future in silent dialogue. And what of the source of Mercator's knowledge? That question lingers like a soft echo through the halls of scholarship, never fully answered but always inviting new exploration. Together, we follow the thread from parchment and ink to radar pulses and satellites, tracing a line not only on a map but through human curiosity and wonder. The mountains beneath Antarctica stand as monuments, not just of geology, but of the unknown threads that bind our understanding of the Earth, telling a story leaving footprints as subtle as they are profound. The mystery invites reflection. What else might be hidden just beyond human sight, waiting for instruments and imagination to uncover? Sleep now drifts closer, carrying the listener deeper into the silence beneath the ice and the patience of unseen peaks, where ancient secrets murmur softly through the ages. The silent mountains under the ice are patient storytellers, their presence mapped first by a curious scholar's hand and later confirmed by science's steady eye. Each ripple in this story blends time and exploration, inviting calm reflection on the vastness of the world and the depth of human endeavor. Here, surrounded by snow and silence, both map and mountains await discovery, reminders that beneath what we see lies another world waiting to be known. The journey travels not only across space but across time. The frozen continent holds its secrets firmly, but the map offers a glimpse through the veil. Let the mind wander gently through the cold, dark expanses, imagining the frozen peaks whispering their ancient names, hidden but never gone. The imagery flows softly, guiding the listener onward, deeper into the layers of mystery where knowledge, history, and imagination meet in quiet harmony. The story of Mercator's Mountains Under Ice is a story of human curiosity's reach, stretching across centuries to touch the unreachable. The mountains beneath the ice remind us that not all truths lie on the surface and that sometimes a map can reveal what the eye cannot see. Sleep now, and let these words settle lightly, embracing the quiet, vastness, and the hidden wonders deep beneath a frozen land. The map's lines, the mountain shapes, and the mysteries in between form a gentle current, guiding the imagination on a peaceful journey through time and space. Beyond the visible map, beyond the lines traced carefully by ink and compass, lies a deeper mystery, one that invites us to consider the sources that fed Mercator's hand. For maps do not emerge from nothing, they are built upon knowledge sometimes passed quietly through generations, sometimes rediscovered from forgotten places. What ancient maps might Mercator have used? There are whispers in history of charts so old they predate the great libraries of the known world, maps held secret, maps lost in time's deep currents. Some speak of lines drawn from voyages by seafarers long vanished, echoes of lands glimpsed before ice claimed them. One such whisper is the existence of pre-glacial maps, documents that captured the Earth's form before ice swallowed whole continents. If such maps survived in fragments, hidden in monasteries or secret collections, could they have reached Mercator's workshop? Could they explain his uncanny knowledge of lands no sailor of his time had seen? The question pushes us into realms of theory and speculation, a gentle reminder of how much the past can still hide. Rare manuscripts from centuries before hint at southern lands, but these are rarely detailed enough to explain the mountain ranges so clearly depicted on Mercator's map. Yet the possibility remains seductive. Consider a time long before Mercator, a time when the Earth's climate was warmer and seas were lower, revealing shorelines lost to modern memory. Seafarers may have set out into waters that no longer exist, charting coasts now buried beneath ice. These ancient explorers, now ghosts of history, might have had maps carefully kept, copied, and handed down through generations. These treasured maps could have crossed cultural boundaries, shared between explorers, traders, and scholars, until pieces found their way to Renaissance Europe. Mercator himself was not only a cartographer but a scholar deeply engaged with texts, languages, and the knowledge of his day. He sought and gathered old manuscripts, transcribing and translating works that others dismissed or overlooked. In this sense, his maps are mosaics, each piece a fragment from different times and places. The tale of these ancient maps is intertwined with one of the most famous examples surviving today, the map of Piri Reis. Created in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral, it astonishingly depicts parts of South America and what appears to be the northern coastline of Antarctica, free of ice as if drawn before the continent was covered. Piri Reis's map holds a story of mystery and loss, for it claims to be compiled from earlier maps gathered from unknown sources, some of which may have come from an ancient library destroyed centuries earlier. Could this Ottoman chart be a sibling to the knowledge that infused Mercator's work? The Piri Reis map is not perfect. It shows distortions and some errors, but it also includes surprisingly accurate detail, especially for its age. It suggests that information about southern lands existed before European exploration, carried across seas, translated, and shared across cultures. What does this mean for the Mercator map, drawn decades later? Could it stand as a confirmation, part of a wider tradition of knowledge passing quietly beneath the waves of history? The thought evokes a sense of a hidden web of cartographic wisdom, preserved and passed on through collaboration and secrecy. Scholars have long debated these ideas, weighing facts against fiction, hoping to untangle history from folklore. The possibility that ancient knowledge of Antarctica once reached Renaissance Europe challenges modern narratives about the discovery and mapping of the world. It nudges us to reconsider the stories we tell about progress and discovery, reminding us that history is rarely a straight line. Often, knowledge slips like water, hidden in unexpected places, resurfacing unexpectedly in new hands and new eras. Maps are also vessels of culture reflecting the values, beliefs, and gazes of the people who make them. Mercator's southern land does not exist only in geography, it exists in imagination and faith, in the intellectual currents of a changing Europe hungry for understanding and mastery. His map might have been as much a vision of possibility as a scientific record, pointing towards lands that explorers dreamed of reaching, or lands known in whispers and myth. To hold this perspective is to embrace the layered complexities of human knowledge itself. Perhaps this blending of science and imagination is what made Mercator's work resonate through the ages. His maps were more than tools, they were stories posed in lines of ink, invitations to look deeper, to question, to explore. As modern tools peel back Antarctica's veil, revealing the landscapes beneath thick ice, the parallels with ancient maps transform from coincidence to enigma. Technology can now describe hidden mountains where once only supposition existed, inviting us to retrace paths once lost to time. These new measurements have reshaped our understanding of the continent, showing that beneath its serene whiteness, powerful forces shaped mountains and valleys long before human eyes could witness them. The Gambutsev Mountains, hidden beneath the ice, are a particularly compelling example. Scientists once believed these ranges simple to find, but only recently have sophisticated instruments sketched their contours, revealing their true size and shape. The mountains are estimated to be as tall as the Alps, yet no human has ever seen their peaks directly. They lie frozen and silent, a geological wonder preserved in frost and shadow, waiting to reveal secrets of the Earth's past. That Mercator's map might unknowingly echo these landscapes stirs a profound sense of connection. It bridges centuries of uncertainty, suggesting that human curiosity and knowledge are timeless companions. The interplay between ancient maps and modern science invites us to reflect on the layers of human understanding, how fragments of lost knowledge can surface amid the advancing tides of technology. In the quiet of night, beneath this story's soft unfolding, the listener is invited to wonder at the hidden worlds beneath ice, at the hands that drew maps from fragments of memory and hearsay, and at the slow, patient questioning that drives discovery. This story is not one of certainties but of mysteries unfolding gently, encouraging the mind to rest with questions that linger like a slow, fading echo through the vast frozen silence. Maps such as Mercator's remind us that while the Earth's surface changes imperceptibly, human curiosity remains constant, always reaching toward the unknown with hope and wonder. As the layers of history and geography unfold, the mysteries of Antarctica stand as silent witnesses, waiting beneath ice for future explorers to bring their stories fully to light. Sleep, now drawing nearer like a steady tide, carries the listener onward through dark landscapes and ancient mountain shapes, ushering them softly into realms of contemplation and calm. The tales etched on parchment and uncovered beneath ice are threads weaving through time, inviting us to contemplate the scope of human knowledge across centuries. And as the soft night deepens, the map's mountains become symbols not just of frozen stone, but of enduring human curiosity, curiosity that knows no bounds of time or place. The Earth's hidden shapes and the knowledge passed down in stories and maps become companions in the gentle silence, urging one to rest, to wonder, and to dream across time's quiet expanse. The story moves on like slow currents beneath a frozen sea, revealing itself in layers for those willing to follow with open hearts and quiet minds. In this slow unfolding, mysteries are not puzzles to be solved quickly but landscapes to be explored patiently, like an ancient path rediscovered under soft snow. The mountains in Mercator's southern land, unseen but deeply felt, invite the listener into a restful journey through forgotten knowledge and the hush of frozen worlds yet to reveal their full truths. And in this gentle unfolding, questions become companions, and silence becomes the voice of discovery, calling softly through the snow and time. The mystery lingers like morning mist on icy peaks, inviting calm reflection, rest, and wonder as the sleep deepens and the journey continues gently onward. Beneath the silent ice of Antarctica and inside the folds of centuries-old maps, there lies a link that continues to puzzle and inspire the elusive connection between Mercator's work and an earlier cartographic treasure known as the Piri Reis map. This map, drawn in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral and navigator, is at the heart of many questions that ripple across history. Unlike Mercator's continental sketch, the Piri Reis map surprises with its direct depiction of coastlines and islands, including parts of South America and an outline that many believe could represent Antarctica's northern coast. What makes this map extraordinary is its portrayal of features seemingly free from ice, as though capturing a pre-glacial landscape now lost beneath the frozen veil. Piri Reis claimed to have gathered his knowledge from diverse sources, including ancient maps brought together from distant lands. These sources were said to include charts from explorers of antiquity, some dating back to times even before the famed Library of Alexandria was destroyed. What if these remnants of ancient knowledge had somehow endured and shaped new charts centuries later? The thought draws us into a world where knowledge passes quietly, traded in shadows, preserved through translations, copied by hand, and shared among trusted scholars and seafarers. The Ottoman admiral's map was not merely a tool for navigation, it was a statement, a fragment of lost geography brought into the light of the Renaissance. Scholars have pored over the map's lines, trying to reconcile them with modern geography. Much debate surrounds whether the map truly represents Antarctica, or if its southern landmass is a conjecture, a product of the mapmaker's imagination. Yet the accuracy in coastline detail challenges easy dismissal, suggesting a deeper source behind its creation. Could the Ottoman chart be a sibling of Mercator's southern land, formed from the same pool of ancient knowledge? If so, it implies that 16th-century cartographers, despite living in vastly different cultures, were drawing from shared traditions and fragments of a world long obscured by ice and time. The idea beckons us to consider interactions between civilizations often thought disconnected by geography or ideology. Trade routes and scholarly exchanges could harbor hidden pathways for information, allowing ideas, stories, and maps to travel unexpected distances. Within the Ottoman Empire, knowledge flourished in libraries and among scholars who prized ancient works, translating and preserving texts on astronomy, geography, and navigation. The Piri Reis map may well reflect this vibrant exchange of information that transcended cultural boundaries. Mercator, working decades later in Europe's Renaissance hub, similarly sought to compile the world's knowledge, blending contemporary discoveries with older records. His map can be seen as part of a vast tapestry of human observation, a tapestry woven with threads from many cultures and centuries. Both maps challenge linear histories of discovery, reminding us that exploration is rarely the privilege of a single nation or era. Instead, it is often the slow accretion of knowledge, passed from hand to hand, crossing oceans and languages. The overlapping features on these maps may well point to a time when ancient sailors ventured farther than commonly believed, charting coastlines and islands on shores now lost beneath shifting ice or rising seas. Geological evidence supports such possibilities, indicating that Antarctica once experienced a temperate climate, supporting flora and fauna before the ice advanced. This ancient warmth would have allowed human or proto-human visitors to explore lands long before recorded history. The notion of pre-glacial maps thus gains weight, evoking images of mariners navigating uncharted southern seas, recording shorelines with precision, knowledge preserved despite the ruthless passage of time. Even today, debates flare about how this knowledge was gathered and preserved. Some suggest secret libraries or archives hidden away in monasteries. Others point to ancient seafaring traditions now lost as civilizations disappeared or changed. Mercator and Piri Reis, separated by geography but united by intrigue, offer us glimpses into this shadowed past. Their work whispers of an old world of exploration, where maps were tools of survival, of power, and of dreams. This whisper is not loud, it requires listening with patience and an open mind. These maps do not shout secrets, they hint at them, drawing us closer into their quiet mysteries beneath layers of ice and parchment. What stories were told as maps were copied and recopied? What voyages prompted their creation? The questions form gentle currents beneath the surface of recorded history, inviting the mind to drift and imagine. Maps like these are more than navigational aids, they are stories shaped by the human urge to understand place, to make sense of the unknown, to chart the edges of the world and the edges of knowledge. Mercator's mountains under ice and the coastal shapes in Piri Reis stand as symbols of connection across time and culture, touching ideas much older than themselves, mapping an idea of the Earth far beyond their own moment. Night deepens as this story folds into the quiet of sleep, carrying the listener through shadowed corridors where knowledge was guarded and passed on, where lines drawn in ink become bridges through time. The ocean of time, stretching between antiquity and the Renaissance, ripples softly with these maps as vessels carrying whispers of vanished shores and lost journeys. Each line hints at voyages not recorded in books, at travelers who sailed under stars unfamiliar to us, at legends encoded in symbols awaiting patient rediscovery. Maps become keys to mysteries that are not easily unlocked, their ancient folds inviting exploration not only of geography but of the soul's desire to know and remember. The Piri Reis and Mercator maps together embody a dream of fullness, a hope that knowledge endures despite centuries of silence, that the Earth's hidden face may still be glimpsed in fragments. As sleep carries the listener deeper, these thoughts settle softly, like snowfall muffling sound, leaving space for wonder, quiet reflection, and the gentle stirring of curiosity. There is beauty in the unknown, in the tentative steps of discovery that connect distant times through shared longing and inquiry. To journey through these maps is to travel pathways of thought and history, to embrace the mysteries of landscapes both real and imagined, waiting patiently beneath ice and ink. The mountains and coastlines traced centuries ago persist as traces of human endeavor, themselves bridges between past and present, seen and unseen, known and yet to be uncovered. Rest now, with the soft certainty that knowledge is a slow river, sometimes concealed beneath ice, sometimes revealed in dreams drawn across centuries. The maps remain open invitations, their silent lines guiding the mind on a quiet voyage through history's gentle embrace. With each breath, the listener drifts deeper into these mysteries, cradled by the slow unfolding of stories laid down by hands guided by wonder. And as sleep deepens, the ancient seas and mountains beneath the ice become companions, their quiet truths woven into the fabric of the night. This journey is not one of haste but of gentle exploration, a dance of time and memory moving softly through the silent white. In this calm, the map's secrets are not lost but patiently waiting for the attentive heart, ready to unfold like the slow turning of a page worn by time. Let the mind float now, carried by the weightless drift of history, logic, and imagination mingling beneath the soft light of stars long extinguished but not forgotten. And so, the tale extends a gentle hum beneath the snow, a promise of hidden worlds, whispered through the ages by the quiet voice of cartographers past. Beneath layers of ice and centuries of silence lies a story illuminated by the advances of modern science, a story that uses technology as a bridge connecting ancient maps and hidden mountains. For the instruments of today reveal the Earth beneath the frozen veil in ways that were only imagined in past centuries. Seismic waves and ice-penetrating radar become the language of discovery, whispering secrets from stone that no human eye has seen. These tools, carried high above Antarctica's endless expanse, send pulses probing deep, reflecting back shapes etched over millions of years. The mountains, once conjectures on paper and in the minds of mapmakers, emerge now as realities, not ghosts, but massive ridges and valleys sculpted by tectonic forces, reshaping the Earth's crust beneath vast glacier. The Earth, hidden yet present, speaks in these echoes beneath the ice. The Gambutsev Mountains, buried beneath 2 kilometers of ice, suddenly exist in a new way. Scientists trace their outlines with precision instruments, charting details once invisible. This mountain range rivals the Alps, untouched by human hands, and older than any human memory. Adjacent ranges, like the Transantarctic Mountains, emerge with similar clarity beneath the frozen surface, confirming shapes that Mercator's pen seemed to know centuries ago. This confluence of past imagination and present science stirs all the two separated by time now meeting across frozen expanses. It invites the mind to travel between eras, between the hand-drawn lines on ancient vellum and the digital readouts of modern satellites orbiting high above a silent continent. What was once a map's suggestion has become a scientific fact, casting new light on the mysteries of human knowledge. Antarctica is both the Earth's coldest desert and its most revealing archive. Beneath its ice lies a terrain that holds clues to deep geological processes, climate shifts, and the slow, relentless dance of continents over eons. That these features appear on a centuries-old map shocks and fascinates. The discovery of these hidden mountains was not easy. The task demanded patience, ingenuity, and technology harnessed to listen beneath the frozen silence. Satellites mapped subtle changes in gravity, revealing mass hidden beneath ice, while sonar and seismic analyses painted contours in darkness. This collaborative effort is a testament to human curiosity stretching across ages and disciplines, from Renaissance cartographers piecing together fragmentary knowledge to modern geophysicists unlocking Earth's hidden shapes. Their work echoes the same desire, to see beyond the visible. Such discoveries transform our understanding of Antarctica not merely as an icy wasteland but as a dynamic, ancient landscape with deep histories recorded in silent stone. The Earth beneath the ice is alive with the stories of past climates, shifting plates, and lost ecosystems. These mountain ranges have stood for hundreds of millions of years, witnessing the Earth's changing face, the rise and fall of seas, and the great cycles of ice advancing and retreating. Their rugged peaks lie hidden but immortal, frozen in time and space. The precision with which modern instruments outline these ranges matches, with remarkable accuracy, the shapes depicted in Mercator's map. This intersection transcends coincidence. It suggests something profound about how human knowledge endures and is rediscovered. Understanding this connection requires opening the mind to possibilities beyond the mainstream narrative. It requires accepting that history may contain lost chapters, that knowledge may be cyclical, emerging and retreating with the tides of time and culture. Science gives us tools to see beneath surfaces, but maps bridge knowledge across human generations. Together, they tell stories of how we seek to chart not only the world but our place within it, through discovery, memory, and imagination. The mountains beneath Antarctica also reveal clues about the Earth's deep past, offering insights into its earliest geological epochs. These ancient peaks may contain the Earth's oldest rocks, their stories captured in mineral layers and tectonic folds. Exploring these hidden ranges can help scientists understand the processes that shaped our planet's continents and oceans. It connects geology, climatology, and geography in an intricate dance of discovery, spanning centuries from old maps to new technology. The frozen continent's mysteries thus weave together science and history, imagination and fact, illuminating how knowledge can pass like a torch through human time, from uncertain sketches to concrete data. Listening to the Earth's echoes beneath ice becomes a meditation on time itself, on the slow patterns that define continents, ice sheets, and, eventually, human understanding. The mountains are not just features of rock but markers of time's patient work. As the story unfolds, the listener is invited to drift gently into this slow revelation, to feel the quiet persistence of hidden mountains and the soft pulse of discovery riding on seismic waves and ancient ink. The frozen silence of Antarctica holds many such stories, uncharted and waiting, where each discovery opens doors to deeper questions and expands the horizon of what we know about the Earth and those who seek to map it. Mercator's lines now hum with new meaning, illuminated by instruments that see through ice and time, revealing the continent as a living archive of history, geology, and human curiosity. The interplay of maps and mountain ranges reminds us that discovery is never one moment but a continuum, a patient reaching across centuries, where ink and instrument find common ground. This continuum is a gentle invitation to rest in silence and wonder, to breathe deeply and let the landscape unfold softly before the mind's eye, as sleep deepens and consciousness relaxes. The vast, silent continent beneath the ice serves as a companion in the night, its ancient mountains beckoning with slow, steady presence, inviting peaceful contemplation. The mystery held within these frozen peaks is not a puzzle to be solved at once but a path to follow slowly, a quiet exploration of time's patience and the depth of human knowledge. As the listener sinks deeper into calm, the story of hidden ranges, of ancient maps, and the blending of old and new knowledge flows uninterrupted, a steady current carrying the mind on a tranquil journey through space and time. The soft cadence of discovery and mystery weaves a comforting thread, cradling thoughts while guiding them gently through the frozen landscapes beneath Antarctica's ice. The Earth's whispered secrets resonate quietly beneath the snow and ice, carried on waves of inquiry, waiting for those who listen with patience and wonder. This story is a reminder that beneath apparent silence lies vast complexity and that the Earth's hidden shapes inspire ongoing journeys of exploration. As the night deepens and the mind drifts, the mountains hidden under ice become symbols of endurance, mystery, and the endless reach of human curiosity. The journey through time and discovery continues, carried with gentle certainty on waves of sound, thought, and quiet revelation. Sleep now enfolds the listener like a soft blanket, carrying them through the hallowed, hidden places where ice and ink meet to tell ancient stories at last. And in this deep quiet, the mountains beneath Antarctica stand as timeless witnesses etched not only in stone but in the fabric of human wonder and patience. The story flows on like slow currents beneath vast frozen seas, inviting rest, reflection, and gentle dreams of maps and mountains yet to be fully known. Peace settles like snowfall, soft and deep, as the journey stretches beyond the night into the quiet promise of discovery waiting just beyond the frozen horizon. Beneath the mysteries of maps and the hidden mountains lies an even deeper enigma, the possibility of ancient civilizations whose knowledge extended far beyond what we often imagine. These civilizations may have possessed technologies and understanding that allowed them to observe and record parts of the Earth lost to us in later ages. Such a notion stretches our imagination, inviting us to consider worlds long vanished beneath ice, ocean, and time. It suggests the existence of a legacy not recorded in textbooks but preserved in echoes, in stone ruins, ancient myths, and, perhaps most intriguingly, in maps that hint at forgotten knowledge. The thought unfolds slowly, like the soft fall of snow. Could an ancient civilization, advanced beyond our current understanding, have mastered cartography and exploration, leaving traces only the most careful observers can detect? Around the world, mysterious ruins whisper of past cultures with knowledge that challenges our timelines. Sites like Göbekli Tepe, predating known civilizations by thousands of years, suggest an early complexity in human society that conflicts with traditional histories. Across the seas, submerged monuments such as the Yonaguni structures hint at civilizations that may have flourished before rising waters claimed their lands. These discoveries stir questions about human history and the origins of advanced knowledge. Similarly, the legend of Atlantis, a civilization said to have sunk beneath the waves, lingers in cultural memory, a myth entwined with speculations about forgotten brilliance lost in cataclysm. Could these ancient cultures have had knowledge of the southern continents, of lands now buried beneath ice or ocean? The possibilities invite a gentle mind to wonder at how knowledge moves and sometimes vanishes, only to echo faintly through history. Imagine a world where such civilizations charted the Earth with precision, passing their wisdom through maps and artifacts that survive in scattered fragments, waiting to be recognized. This ancient knowledge might have spread through trade routes or secret schools, crossing continents and generations, influencing mapmakers like Mercator centuries later. If true, the mountains beneath Antarctica, so precisely indicated centuries ago, could be part of this larger story, one of lost knowledge preserved through symbols, myths, and maps. These possibilities are a delicate invitation to listen closely to the silent testimonies beneath ice and stone, to question comfortable narratives, and to accept that history may hold deeper layers. This story does not demand belief but instead welcomes curiosity, the quiet contemplation of a world larger and stranger than we sometimes allow ourselves to imagine. Scientific discoveries may eventually validate parts of these ancient legacies, revealing how human history intertwines with the Earth's own shifting face over millennia. The slow unfolding of knowledge is like walking a path through snow, soft beneath footsteps, revealing new shapes with each careful advance. As the mind journeys deeper into this unfolding, it encounters the interplay between myth and reality, the delicate balance between what is remembered and what is lost. Ancient myths may contain kernels of truth, encoded in allegory and metaphor, wrapped in the language of story passed through generations. Maps, then, become more than tools, they become vessels for these stories, bridging the seen and unseen, the spoken and the silent. The existence of these hidden legacies encourages an open mind, one willing to explore mysteries without immediate answers, to drift gently through layers of history and imagination. In this frame, Mercator's map is a thread connecting us to a long, winding journey through human memory, what was known, what was forgotten, and what remains just beyond reach. The layered text of history whispers different tales to those who listen carefully, revealing that knowledge has a way of returning, clad in new forms and discoveries. Sleep now absorbs the listener, weaving the story gently into dreams where ancient civilizations and hidden mountains coalesce into quiet mysteries. The mountains beneath ice and the ruins beneath water speak softly in the dark, inviting the tired mind to rest with them, to ponder quietly in the soothing stillness. The ocean of time is vast, its depths holding secrets as profound as the Earth's hidden ranges. It invites calm reflection on the patience and persistence of human inquiry. Every shadowed shape beneath ice and every ancient ruin beneath waves become symbols in a larger mosaic, pieces of a puzzle that hints at our shared past. A past layered with complexity, with knowledge both lost and found, with maps drawn and redrawn across continents and time. The very essence of human curiosity is a river that flows across millennia, carrying fragments of understanding like pebbles in its current. To follow this river is to embrace mystery and wonder, to let go of certainty and rest in the peaceful unknown. The mountains beneath Antarctica, the ruins beneath the sea, and the maps etched on parchment invite the quiet mind to drift across the vastness of time. They offer a pathway into silence and contemplation, where questions rest gently and dreams unfold with a gentle rhythm. In this hush, the journey continues softly without demand or rush, a companion to sleep and a friend to wonder. The story moves like shadows beneath the moonlight, revealing forms slowly, patiently, allowing the mind to explore with a calm heart. Sleep gathers deeper, carrying the listener through ancient mysteries and quiet revelations, a voyage both gentle and profound. The hidden worlds beneath ice and stone speak quietly but persistently, inviting calm and curiosity to coexist in peaceful harmony. And so, the tale extends onward, soft as snowfall, deep as the ocean, and patient as the mountains, waiting for discovery in the stillness of night. Among the quiet moonlit corridors of history, knowledge often traveled in the shadows, protected by secret societies, cloaked in metaphor, and passed from scholar to scholar with whispered urgency. It is here that the story of hidden knowledge and mystical transmission begins to unfold, weaving a delicate thread through the tapestry of time. In the world where Mercator lived and worked, information was prized beyond measure, yet not always openly shared. Knowledge of distant lands and complex sciences moved through channels guarded by learned men bound by oaths, philosophy, and sometimes the mysteries of faith itself. These guardians of esoteric wisdom preserved manuscripts and maps, often embedding their secrets in symbols and allegories, ensuring that only those initiated could decipher the true meaning beneath the surface. The hands that held these treasures also shaped the world's maps, blending science with sacred knowledge. The transmission of this knowledge straddled the realms of faith, science, and art. Monks, alchemists, and philosophers whispered the secrets of the cosmos and the Earth's shape in secluded chambers, where the weight of knowledge was both a crown and a burden. Mercator himself was a man deeply rooted in this tradition, a scholar who understood both the power and the danger of knowledge. His maps were not merely practical tools but vessels carrying the encoded whispers of long-gone civilizations and secret teachings. The lines of his cartography carried hidden messages, subtle features that spoke to those trained in symbolic language, providing clues to ancient wisdom and spiritual geography. These were not accidental details but purposeful inclusions inviting a closer gaze. In esoteric circles, the Earth was more than rock and water, it was a sacred geometry, a living organism connected to the heavens and reflecting divine patterns. Maps were not simply representations but keys to understanding the divine order woven into the world's fabric. This mindset transforms how we view maps like Mercator's, suggesting they functioned as more than boundaries and coastlines. They were spiritual guides as well as navigational charts, blending empirical observation and mystical insight. Through these secret transmissions, knowledge of the Earth's shape and hidden features passed across boundaries, thriving even amid the turmoil of wars, religious upheavals, and societal change. This persistence speaks to the human spirit's enduring quest for understanding. Religious traditions often intersected with scientific inquiry during Mercator's time, allowing a fusion where maps became bridges between the known and the unknown, the earthly and the divine, the present and the eternal. The balance was delicate. Sharing secrets too openly could attract suspicion or persecution, yet withholding knowledge curtailed the advancement of learning and exploration. This tension shaped the way maps were drawn and shared, sometimes obscured, sometimes illuminated. The southern landmass in Mercator's map may be one such illuminated mystery, a depiction preserved in layers of secrecy, leaning on both ancient knowledge and spiritual symbolism to assert its place on the world's stage. Interpreting these maps requires a willingness to read between the lines and to appreciate the coded language of cartographers who were both scientists and mystics, blending exactitude with philosophy. Many symbols on maps from this era carry meanings lost to time, references to ancient lore, sacred sites, or cosmic truths encoded in the very geography depicted. To decode them, one must enter their world, where science and faith are partners, not opposites. The study of these esoteric transmissions reveals an ancient network of knowledge keepers, monastic orders, secret societies, and learned men who nurtured human curiosity through dark times. These custodians often wrap their wisdom in allegories, metaphors, and secret signs to protect it from those who might misuse or misunderstand it, crafting a hidden language that only the devoted could understand. Their legacy echoes in the delicate curves and shaded mountains of Mercator's work, which holds more than geographical truth. It holds stories of resilience, hope, and the relentless human drive to know. Within this context, the southern lands and their mountains take on a new dimension as symbols of the unknown, as touchstones of sacred geography, and as markers of a long chain of knowledge transmission. Many maps of this era reveal a passion for hidden truths, a belief that geography itself contained spiritual lessons, that the Earth's shape reflected cosmic order and human purpose. This belief infused mapmaking with an almost sacred purpose. Maps became tools for understanding not only where we are but who we are, our place in the cosmos, and the mysteries waiting beneath surface appearances. For centuries, these esoteric traditions navigated the challenging currents of history, passing knowledge like a flame through generations, even when threatened by the fires of censorship and destruction. Their persistence allowed knowledge of places unseen, like Antarctica's hidden mountains, to survive in coded form, awaiting rediscovery when tools and minds were ready to receive them. This hidden thread in history invites wonder rather than certainty, an invitation to rest in the gentle embrace of mystery and the promise of discovery beyond the visible. The silence of the night becomes a fitting canvas for these stories, where words flow slowly and quietly, allowing the listener to drift alongside ideas woven from science, spirit, and secret passageways of knowing. Maps, then, emerge as living documents, capable of conveying layered meanings, containing both outer geography and inner truths waiting to be unveiled by those willing to journey beyond the obvious. As the night deepens, the boundaries between observable reality and spiritual insight blur, offering a space for tranquil contemplation, where questions float gently alongside sleep. This dance of knowledge and mystery resembles a vast tapestry, each thread contributing to the whole, a story that stretches across cultures, epochs, and the sky-spanning human imagination. The mountains that Mercator traced are more than geological forms, they are silent guardians of stories handed down through hidden channels, marking the intersection of earth, faith, and knowledge. Within their shadows, secrets rest calmly, waiting for patient hearts to listen and gentle minds to understand without urgency. The maps carry us through labyrinths of history where knowledge hides beneath symbols and encoded messages, whispering softly across the centuries. This quiet transmission of wisdom reminds us that human understanding is not linear but a woven fabric, layered with light and shadow, seen and unseen. Sleep embraces the listener now, carrying them through these hidden corridors of thought, where the mysteries of the earth and spirit converge in silent harmony. With each breath, the story deepens, inviting rest and wonder, unfolding the gentle interplay between ancient knowledge and modern discovery. The map's mountains become metaphors for these hidden paths formed over vast time, shaped by forces invisible to most, yet standing firm through ages of change. And as the mind flows gently through these stories, it learns that mysteries are not barriers but openings, passages into realms of peaceful inquiry and dreaming. Mercator's legacy is thus one of daring and caution, science and spirituality, a testament to the enduring human desire to seek and to keep sacred what is still beyond reach. The soft cadence of night carries this story onward, through quiet halls of history, where echoes of ancient wisdom blend softly with the pulse of discovery. In this unfolding narrative, the mountains, maps, and mysteries become companions on a restful journey, weaving threads of calm and wonder through the fabric of sleep. And as the darkness deepens, so does the understanding that knowledge like sleep arrives in its own time, unfolding in quiet layers for those who listen patiently. The story vibrates softly now, like the slow turning of a sacred page, a tranquil lullaby guiding the listener deeper into mystery and peace. The whispers beneath the ice and ink carry on gently, inviting calm curiosity and restful reflection under the vast canopy of the night sky. This is an invitation to surrender to quiet, to embrace the unknown with serenity, and to dream with open eyes as the journey flows slowly onward. Continuing Part 8 with a calm, detailed, and immersive narration in English, segmented into short paragraphs for a sleep documentary style. Among the quiet moonlit corridors of history, knowledge often traveled in the shadows, protected by secret societies, cloaked in metaphor, and passed from scholar to scholar with whispered urgency. It is here that the story of hidden knowledge and mystical transmission begins to unfold, weaving a delicate thread through the tapestry of time. In the world where Mercator lived and worked, information was prized beyond measure, yet not always openly shared. Knowledge of distant lands and complex sciences moved through channels guarded by learned men bound by oaths, philosophy, and sometimes the mysteries of faith itself. These guardians of esoteric wisdom preserved manuscripts and maps, often embedding their secrets in symbols and allegories, ensuring that only those initiated could decipher the true meaning beneath the surface. The hands that held these treasures also shaped the world's maps, blending science with sacred knowledge. The transmission of this knowledge straddled the realms of faith, science, and art. Monks, alchemists, and philosophers whispered the secrets of the cosmos and the Earth's shape in secluded chambers, where the weight of knowledge was both a crown and a burden. Mercator himself was a man deeply rooted in this tradition, a scholar who understood both the power and the danger of knowledge. His maps were not merely practical tools but vessels carrying the encoded whispers of long-gone civilizations and secret teachings. The lines of his cartography carried hidden messages, subtle features that spoke to those trained in symbolic language, providing clues to ancient wisdom and spiritual geography. These were not accidental details but purposeful inclusions inviting a closer gaze. In esoteric circles, the Earth was more than rock and water, it was a sacred geometry, a living organism connected to the heavens and reflecting divine patterns. Maps were not simply representations but keys to understanding the divine order woven into the world's fabric. This mindset transforms how we view maps like Mercator's, suggesting they functioned as more than boundaries and coastlines. They were spiritual guides as well as navigational charts, blending empirical observation and mystical insight. Through these secret transmissions, knowledge of the Earth's shape and hidden features passed across boundaries, thriving even amid the turmoil of wars, religious upheavals, and societal change. This persistence speaks to the human spirit's enduring quest for understanding. Religious traditions often intersected with scientific inquiry during Mercator's time, allowing a fusion where maps became bridges between the known and the unknown, the earthly and the divine, the present and the eternal. The balance was delicate. Sharing secrets too openly could attract suspicion or persecution, yet withholding knowledge curtailed the advancement of learning and exploration. This tension shaped the way maps were drawn and shared, sometimes obscured, sometimes illuminated. The southern landmass in Mercator's map may be one such illuminated mystery, a depiction preserved in layers of secrecy, leaning on both ancient knowledge and spiritual symbolism to assert its place on the world's stage. Interpreting these maps requires a willingness to read between the lines and to appreciate the coded language of cartographers who were both scientists and mystics, blending exactitude with philosophy. Many symbols on maps from this era carry meanings lost to time, references to ancient lore, sacred sites, or cosmic truths encoded in the very geography depicted. To decode them, one must enter their world, where science and faith are partners, not opposites. The study of these esoteric transmissions reveals an ancient network of knowledge keepers, monastic orders, secret societies, and learned men who nurtured human curiosity through dark times. These custodians often wrap their wisdom in allegories, metaphors, and secret signs to protect it from those who might misuse or misunderstand it, crafting a hidden language that only the devoted could understand. Their legacy echoes in the delicate curves and shaded mountains of Mercator's work, which holds more than geographical truth. It holds stories of resilience, hope, and the relentless human drive to know. Within this context, the southern lands and their mountains take on a new dimension as symbols of the unknown, as touchstones of sacred geography, and as markers of a long chain of knowledge transmission. Many maps of this era reveal a passion for hidden truths, a belief that geography itself contained spiritual lessons, that the Earth's shape reflected cosmic order and human purpose. This belief infused mapmaking with an almost sacred purpose. Maps became tools for understanding not only where we are but who we are, our place in the cosmos, and the mysteries waiting beneath surface appearances. For centuries, these esoteric traditions navigated the challenging currents of history, passing knowledge like a flame through generations, even when threatened by the fires of censorship and destruction. Their persistence allowed knowledge of places unseen, like Antarctica's hidden mountains, to survive in coded form, awaiting rediscovery when tools and minds were ready to receive them. This hidden thread in history invites wonder rather than certainty, an invitation to rest in the gentle embrace of mystery and the promise of discovery beyond the visible. The silence of the night becomes a fitting canvas for these stories, where words flow slowly and quietly, allowing the listener to drift alongside ideas woven from science, spirit, and secret passageways of knowing. Maps, then, emerge as living documents, capable of conveying layered meanings, containing both outer geography and inner truths waiting to be unveiled by those willing to journey beyond the obvious. As the night deepens, the boundaries between observable reality and spiritual insight blur, offering a space for tranquil contemplation, where questions float gently alongside sleep. This dance of knowledge and mystery resembles a vast tapestry, each thread contributing to the whole story that stretches across cultures, epochs, and the sky-spanning human imagination. The mountains that Mercator traced are more than geological forms, they are silent guardians of stories handed down through hidden channels, marking the intersection of earth, faith, and knowledge. Within their shadows, secrets rest calmly, waiting for patient hearts to listen and gentle minds to understand without urgency. The maps carry us through labyrinths of history where knowledge hides beneath symbols and encoded messages, whispering softly across the centuries. This quiet transmission of wisdom reminds us that human understanding is not linear but a woven fabric, layered with light and shadow, seen and unseen. Sleep embraces the listener now, carrying them through these hidden corridors of thought, where the mysteries of the earth and spirit converge in silent harmony. With each breath, the story deepens, inviting rest and wonder, unfolding the gentle interplay between ancient knowledge and modern discovery. The map's mountains become metaphors for these hidden paths formed over vast time, shaped by forces invisible to most, yet standing firm through ages of change. And as the mind flows gently through these stories, it learns that mysteries are not barriers but openings, passages into realms of peaceful inquiry and dreaming. Mercator's legacy is thus one of daring and caution, science and spirituality, a testament to the enduring human desire to seek and to keep sacred what is still beyond reach. The soft cadence of night carries this story onward, through quiet halls of history, where echoes of ancient wisdom blend softly with the pulse of discovery. In this unfolding narrative, the mountains, maps, and mysteries become companions on a restful journey, weaving threads of calm and wonder through the fabric of sleep. And as the darkness deepens, so does the understanding that knowledge like sleep arrives in its own time, unfolding in quiet layers for those who listen patiently. The story vibrates softly now, like the slow turning of a sacred page, a tranquil lullaby guiding the listener deeper into mystery and peace. The whispers beneath the ice and ink carry on gently, inviting calm curiosity and restful reflection under the vast canopy of the night sky. This is an invitation to surrender to quiet, to embrace the unknown with serenity, and to dream with open eyes as the journey flows slowly onward. The story beneath the ice continues to unfold, revealing a landscape that speaks not only of geography but of time itself, the slow shifting and drifting of continents, the rise and fall of mountains, the ebb and flow of ice ages that have shaped the very bones of our planet. This geological puzzle invites the mind to wander across deep epochs. The Earth moves silently, yet powerfully, its crust ever restless, molding landscapes in patterns that extend beyond human lifespans. Beneath Antarctica's frozen shell, ancient peaks rise like echoes of an earlier world, their forms carved long before humans walked the earth or held maps in their hands. This movement is recorded in every fold of rock and every curve of glacial valley, a history of fire and frost, of volcanic fury and patient erosion, of seas rising and receding in an eternal dance with the sky. The shifting continents tell stories of collision and separation. Antarctica was once part of a greater landmass, joined with continents now far away, drifting slowly southward to a frozen destiny that would cloak its secrets in ice. The mountain ranges beneath the ice bear witness to these slow motions, silent sentinels marking time on scales beyond imagination, their origins as old as the earliest continents themselves. Modern geology reveals how these shifts created environments that shaped life on Earth, influencing climates, altering ecosystems, and setting the stage for the evolution of countless species across vast stretches of prehistory. The mountains and hidden ranges under Antarctica's ice are not mere relics but active participants in Earth's story, contributors to patterns of ice flow, sea level change, and even global climate systems. Scientists study these ranges to understand how the Earth's surface reacts to both deep geological forces and more recent climatic cycles, learning not only about the past but about possible futures. The ice itself is a moving archive, a frozen library holding clues to atmospheric changes, past temperatures, and even ancient volcanic eruptions. Layer by layer, it records the Earth's rhythms in silent snowfall. These rhythms must be read carefully, like a story told across millennia, each chapter sealed beneath the next in cold layers of memory waiting to be uncovered by patient explorers and instruments. Seismic waves travel through these layers, mapping contours where human eyes cannot see, revealing the shape of mountains and valleys that have persisted under the ice for hundreds of millions of years. The juxtaposition of these geological realities with the maps that Mercator and others drew centuries ago invites a profound reflection on how humanity perceives and preserves knowledge of the natural world. What strikes as remarkable is the convergence of human curiosity and natural history, the way ancient mapmakers charted a world they could not see, guided by fragments of knowledge that modern science only now fully reveals. This intersection bridges science and history, showing that our quest to understand the Earth is as old as civilization itself, passed down through generations, expressed in tools as old as inked paper and as new as satellite imaging. The flow of time seems less linear here, and more circular, ancient knowledge rising anew as instruments capture echoes from beneath the ice, and the silent mountains emerge from shadow into light. Awareness of this interplay brings a meditative calm, a sense that the Earth and humanity are linked through cycles of discovery and forgetting, linked by the mountain's patient presence beneath the frozen surface. The listener is invited to imagine the immense forces that have shaped these hidden peaks, continental collisions that folded layers of stone and sparked the rise of vast ranges, changes slow yet unstoppable. Each shift reminded us of the Earth's vitality, a dynamic planet whose surface is continually remolded by processes both violent and almost imperceptible, from drifting plates to creeping glacier. The mountains beneath Antarctica, once part of ancient supercontinents like Gondwana, trace the movements of the Earth's crust through deep time, bearing silent testimony to the Earth's restless heart. Within their structure lie clues not only to the forces that shaped their rise but also to the climate that followed, environments that supported life long before the ice claimed the land. These ancient landscapes capture a world before glacier, before the ice ages, when seas were lower, climates warmer, and ecosystems flourished in areas now lost beneath snow and ice. Their stories inform studies of past climates, helping scientists predict future changes by understanding how Earth systems responded to fluctuations in the past. The frozen mountains' endurance through ice ages reveals resilience but also fragility, as their towering presence influences ice flow, water cycles, and ultimately, global climate patterns. This connection between geology and climate underscores the importance of Antarctica not only as a subject of scientific study but as a crucial player in Earth's environmental equilibrium. As snow gently falls beyond the mind's eye, the deep rhythms of Earth echo softly in the heart of the story, promoting a sense of wonder mingled with humility before the vastness of geological time. The listener is invited to retreat inward, following the slow pulse of the planet's history etched beneath ice and stone, a narrative that unfolds with patience and quiet depth. It is a meditation on permanence and change, an invitation to consider time scales beyond human life and the enduring marks left by nature's ceaseless activity. This geological story melds with human curiosity, weaving a tapestry where history, science, and mystery blend seamlessly as the night deepens and thought slow. The hidden mountains become metaphors for endurance, mysteries pass silently from era to era, waiting patiently for discovery and understanding. Sleep now deepens, folding the listener into the Earth's slow rhythm, carrying them beyond time's grasp into the calm embrace of geological memory. The story's pulse thumps softly beneath the surface of thought, inviting a gentle surrender to the mysteries held in ice and rock. Every fold of the mountains, every layer of ice, is a chapter in a vast, unfolding story, one without end yet rich with quiet insights. The Earth's slow, silent movements become a lullaby for the mind, a slow dance through vast time that encourages gentle reflection and rest. The ancient ranges beneath Antarctica's frozen surface are a calling to remember, to dream, and to listen to the Earth's patient voice. And as the journey continues, this silent conversation between stone and ice, between map and mountain, invites an exploration that flows softly onward. The vastness of geological time holds its gentle wisdom close, whispering calm truths in rhythms that soothe the restless mind. The mountains beneath the ice stand as monuments to patience, resilience, and the enduring mystery at the heart of the Earth's story. In this slow, unbroken narrative, the listener floats on waves of discovery and wonder, cradled in the majestic silence of Earth's hidden realms. And so, the tale unfolds quietly, a gentle stream flowing inevitably forward, inviting rest, reflection, and a peaceful journey into the depths of time. Good evening, dear listeners. Thank you for joining me on this remarkable journey, through maps and mountains, ice and time. Tonight, we reach the edge of mystery, where history blends with science, where imagination kisses reality, and where the invisible becomes visible. Our story began with a map from 1569 drawn by the steady hand of Gerardus Mercator, a man whose vision stretched beyond the horizons of his time. A map that depicted lands unseen, mountains hidden under miles of ice, and mysteries waiting silently to be uncovered. We traced the hidden ranges beneath Antarctica's frozen shroud, where mountains sleep unseen by any eye but revealed by modern instruments, echoing the forgotten knowledge inked centuries ago. The Gambert-7 transantarctic ranges, giants beneath the ice, tell stories older than time. We wandered through whispers of ancient maps and legends, of Piri Reis's chart, hinting at lands free of ice, sketched in eras we are only beginning to imagine. Those old maps, like puzzle pieces, invite us to piece together lost knowledge, to rethink what we know about human history. The shadows of ancient civilizations dance through our tale, ruins beneath oceans, myths of lost worlds, and echoes of cultures that might have shaped maps and dreams alike. Knowledge preserved, hidden, passed on through secret paths, waiting to be discovered or rediscovered. We explored secret transmissions of wisdom, the silent whispers of monks, alchemists, and philosophers, who guarded ancient knowledge in symbols and sacred geometry. In the maps, a language of both science and spirit, inviting those attentive enough to decipher hidden truths. We sailed through the vast cycles of geological time, where continents drift, mountains rise and fall, and ice cloaks the earth in silence. Antarctica's frozen mystery stands as a monument to endurance, a testament to the ever-changing, yet eternal, nature of our planet. Tonight, we embrace the interplay of science, history, and mystery, a dance that invites calm reflection and patient inquiry. The mountains beneath ice, the lines on ancient maps, the whispers across time, they are all parts of a story unfolding gently, endlessly. As your journey through this story ends tonight, let these thoughts settle softly, like snowflakes drifting down a silent mountain, quiet and assured. Know that mysteries are companions to knowledge, that the unknown often beckons with the most beautiful promise. Thank you for walking this path of discovery with me, for lending your mind and heart to mysteries old and new, for allowing silence and story to weave a lullaby of wonder. Sleep well, dear listener, wrapped in calm curiosity, held by the Earth's ancient secrets. Rest now, and as dreams come, let them carry you to frozen peaks, hidden lands, and maps untouched by time, where the mysteries of the world unfold in quiet embrace, waiting always for the gentle touch of respectful wonder. Good night, and until our next journey through the soft shadows of history and the quiet light of discovery, may peace and curiosity guide your dreams gently onward.